katono mpulira Mike Mwana Shivana representing Faruga.
Welcome to Queer Twogere 2026. Banang, Happy New Year. Happy New Year to all of you. We hope you had like an amazing New Year and we hope you're safe, alive and well. Everybody tuning in to Queer Twogere right now. Thank you so much for standing with us. From 2021. Yo!
How many years?
6
years.
Yes, so thank you so much for being patient and enjoying all our jazz. We know you like it. And we always miss you every time we take long. So, we are back again and again. Because we are back, we are Twogere.
She said what she said.
Definitely, because it is someone's birthday. And she is going to be the first person to say hello. Please.
Hi guys, hi everyone. Happy New Year.
To you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, birthday baby. What's the birthday?
Thank you. So be here. I'm honored to be here on this very beautiful day with beautiful souls in this space. And I'm just happy to be celebrating another year. And I'm hoping for more and more and more. And thank you for the singing.
Tina here. I'm happy to be here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo woo. Juicy. Hey, Juicy in the house. Feb as a love month. I am Juicy and so Woolulu. Woolulu also Woolulu.
Hi everyone. Cocolette Princess. Cocolette. Okay.
Nag. Hi everyone. This is Salongo.
Salongo, and my name is Sweet Chocolate and some sort of poisonous ivy in between. Yes. This year we are being both sweet and poisonous. Speaking about this year, just share a little bit of any plans, anything that you want, like what's new for you this year?
This year I'm very focused. Yeah, I'm very focused this year, and I have to do whatever it means to do what I have to do. That's it.
I support you, Salongo. Keep confusing the enemies. Because, man, people can be funny. But me, this year, I don't know. I'm yet to see what's up. It's still work in progress, still getting out of, whatever fever of, from the festive season to the election season so life is not yet really like back to its normalcy. So yeah, I'm still figuring it out for now.
How was the festive season for you?
It was awesome for me. I was with family. Yeah, I had fun. I was mainly with family, and then I was also babysitting my niece and my nephew. Yeah, doing auntie duties that I wasn't prepared for, but well, at the end of the day, it's a bit fulfilling. But yeah, my festive season was good. Yeah.
This year. So if I have no plans, suppose I might get someone. Go and know a single home time.
But how was your Christmas, your New Year?
My New Year was a little bit boring, and nothing much.
The juice is overflowing. That's all I can say. This year, I'm going to use a big English word. Audacious. Audacity. You know the audacity of men moving with that same energy. I am ready to offend, but not be offended. So that's the energy. Republic. In Jesus Republic, they will not see anything. My festivities were so good, but care work. You people, that Christmas, no. One thing I am sure about, I am not meant to be cooking every day. I cooked so much, and my back started to hurt, and I just told my mom, I'm ready to go back now because I've done so much. But other than that, it was a time had so many stories. We did like the fire pit at home, and we were like going into a new house. So like that was so much fun. We had the little kids at home. We sang, we danced, we told stories. Festivities were good. I enjoyed that.
Who even go in new houses? While we are in the same Kazigo.
That is a large family.
This year I'm going to have as much sex as there exists in this world. Because I don't feel like I had enough sex last year, and this year I'm going to revenge, I swear. And I'm off to a good start, actually. My January has not been bad. Let's wait and see. How are my festive season? My mom is the same story. Like, she's the same annoying person I go to every festive season. But like she said something to me that meant so much to me. So our help had gone, I think one of those border guys took her. But she lied that she had gone for Christmas holidays and didn't come back. So
a lot of them have not come back.
Yeah. And my mom is like, I think I inherited laziness from my mom. Like, I'm lazy, but like my mom is lazy times too. So now at home there's just mom and my young brother who is just 7 years, and then me. My other siblings decided I'm going to come home when there's no maid because they know how lazy mom is. And so it was so interesting that when I went there and the maid had gone, I knew that I'm going to do housework and just die. But I was also very tired. And I would be sleeping, and then I would be... Because my mom and my brother really wake up early, naturally. My brother really suffered during that time, but yeah, he would be fine. But like, they wake up like at 6. Me, I wake up at like 11. So I'd be waking up at 9 feeling guilty. I'm oversleeping. And then I go to the kitchen and they've done everything. And then I'll be telling my mom, like, let me help you around. And then someday she just told me, like, go back to bed and sleep. I know you want to rest because every time you come to this place, you sleep a lot. And then she was like, I'm like, but I want to help. And then she told me, but you work so hard and give us everything. So just, I went to my bedroom and cried. Like, I cried. Because I always felt like she probably doesn't sit, so it meant a lot. My brother, though, suffered. But also, it's interesting that my brother is doing... Because when I was young, when I used to do housework, I would be annoyed. You people have never seen a kid like the other kid. They don't get annoyed. They don't be annoyed. Like, my mom will be abusing them, and they're just looking. I'm like, can't you say, like, small things like for us we did? Also, I had never really given... Because I think because the... help used to entertain him a lot. I'd never given him time. He's an adopted boy. We took him when he was, I think, around 5. So this time I was with him alone. And this boy, like, just mesmerized me. First of all, there are no kids at home. And he plays alone. Like, not even watching TV, like, driving gogolo alone. Like, I'll be in the house and I'm just hearing someone shouting around the house. And I'm peeping in the window. I'm like, who are you playing with? He's like, myself. I'm like, and you're having fun? Yeah. Like, it just humbled me how he just entertains himself. Yeah. He really plays like the whole day. He'll be screaming. So I bought him a whistle before I left just so I can piss off my mom. And then I got to my mom was calling me. She called me and she was like, thank you very much. Like, you know that sarcastic thank you. Because apparently she blows the whistle at 6 in the morning. So yesterday I was checking on him. I'm like, is your whistle still working? He's like, yeah. I'm like, when do you blow it? He's like, anytime. And I'm like, I'm proud of you, boy.
Oh wow! Thank you for giving joy to that boy, and I think they must have been happy having a sister around. Wow, you guys, you had the best time. Me, I was working at the gig. Also, Febis, they love math. Valentine's Eve, people are going to be squeezing and receiving flowers from different people. Bambi, don't break anyone's hearts. You guys, we had voting on the 15th of January and 16th. We need to know. Our listeners need to know. Did you all vote? How was the experience? Because the anxiety over is still around. What do you think? Hey, the anxiety is still anxious, but still celebrating over what? So, Salongo, how was your experience with the Kalulu Walonda?
Okulonda twalonda, but everything was fine. According where I voted from, but security guards balina empisa nnungi, buli kimu kyatambula bulungi nga bwe kyalina okuba. Ekirala pozi kye nalabamuko olw'okuba balina empisa ennungi, kati abasirikale abo balaba ebiseera ebisinga abantu baba basuumuwa obwongo. Baana alina bwe nali nnyimiridde, waliwo bodaboda maani yajja namugamba bodaboda zikoma wano, ekitegeera teweeyongerayo ko wa boda yalakuba piki yange batugamba muli babbi. Musajja namugamba bambi no, boda zikola ki zikoma wano. Abasirikale ne baddayo ne batula ne bamutunuulira, ati baddayo ne batula ne bamutunuulira, ati babodaboda banne ne bamugamba omanyi kyebagamba kyoba okola ki kyoba okola. Kati ate amala agipaakinga we yabadde alina ogipaakinga, kuba abasirikale ne bamugamba manyi mugogizeeyo oyagala okuba piki z'abanna, ekitegeera. But ku byonna ebyaliwo n'omusirikale omu gwe nayogera naye agamba okugyayo ku kitundu kyaffe babagamba basinga okuba abakyamu ababi. Naga naye yeebuuziza abantu engeri gye bakuumyemu eddembe n'empisa, kuba bwe yamalanga okulonda ng'addayo baakomawo lwaggulu mu kubala ki Kalulu. So the experience yali nnungi.
So in your area you had like peaceful voting?
Yeah, peaceful voting.
And you also voted peacefully?
Yes.
Did you Kukuma Kalulu? How do they say it in English? Did you wait for the vote? Me, I didn't vote, guys. So my story is very sad. Why I didn't vote because I was not. So I traveled at the beginning of there to just go and clear my head. I went to Mombasa to visit with a couple of friends, and I wanted to vote so bad that I put my return date on the day that was supposed to vote, which was 15th, and I think that's the biggest mistake I made. So how I was supposed to fly, I used Ethiopian Airlines. So I was supposed to fly from Mombasa to Addis and then from Addis to Uganda. My flight from Mombasa to Addis was very perfect, but my connection was so short. I think it was like 45 minutes. So I was running throughout the airport to make sure I catch my flight. I get to the flight I'm supposed to catch to come to Uganda, and then someone is telling me I'm not supposed to be on that flight. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, what do you mean? And then she's like, your flight was changed to like, because it was supposed to be at 4. And she's like, your flight was changed to 10. I'm like, you must be lying. She's like, no. And then she's like, anyway, let me check. So I give her my boarding pass. When I had been given a boarding pass that is taking me all the way to Uganda. So she checks the boarding pass, and I think during that time, I don't know why my common sense wasn't working. Because later on I realized there are people that were scared about what would probably happen in Uganda, and they had bought late night seats, so they bought off our seats. So when you go to the airport to board, they would trick you that you're not supposed to be on the flight. They would take your boarding pass and pretend to check and then sell your seat in that moment, and you wouldn't know. Because the moment she took my boarding pass and said, let me check, and I see a message saying, oh, sorry, your flight has been rescheduled. I was so shocked I couldn't even fight. Like, I'm quarrelsome, but I was so shocked that I couldn't even fight. So they sell my seat. I don't know why I was civilized. I'm not usually civilized. Ask them what the way forward is. They told me you can go to the hotel, to the airport hotel and rest. So I go there and rest. And then it turns out only 10 seats had been sold. So what that meant is that there were 10 people that were coming to Uganda that were stranded in Addis, but they could not give us a whole flight because there were only 10 of us. And they were scared to fly the next day, I think. So 10, when you're supposed to board, we go, and then we get there and they're telling us, you're too few. Have you seen Addis before? Do you want to go to another city? I'm like, now they were even willing to take us out of the airport and go see Addis. I'm like, I want to go home. Because my fear kept being like, I have a young child back home and my mom. If I was cats and I'm just next to them, I would never forgive myself, as if I can even get there in time. So I was like, I need to go home. Bananga, we quarreled. Bananga, we abused. Bananga, we rolled. And then eventually they're like, okay, there are people who are supposed to go to Rwanda at maybe 1 in the morning. We will couple you up with the people that are going to Rwanda. I ended up flying from Mombasa to Entebbe in 20 hours.
How many cities?
20 hours. It took me 20 hours to get home. Now, for me, I think why I'm telling you this is the most humbling thing for me is I kept telling my cab guy who was picking me, because I knew there's no way I would get from the airport. So my cab guy works at the airport. I kept telling him, like, I'm coming. And then at the 10th flight, I think the internet went off, because then I lost connection. So I was quarreling. I wasn't able to tell. So I was supposed to land at midnight. And then we ended up leaving, I think, like at 1 in the morning and getting to Entebbe at 5 in the morning. This man waited for me until 5. Not even knowing if I was on the flight. Because when I got to the airport, I called him. I'm like, I would really understand if you went home. He's like, no, I waited. I'm like, but because it was like, I think like 5:45. I'm like, it's morning. It means you're at the airport the entire night. He's like, I knew you'd be stranded. There was no way you'd have gotten home. Like, you guys, the way I was soundboard. I almost cried. He got my luggage. And then I went home. But you people, I suffered. You people, like 20 hours. I got home.
Like a West African.
And then also the thing that shocked me is when they took me to the hotel, they gave me food, and then I got an instant allergic reaction. So my mouth was swollen, my eyes were swollen, my hands were swollen. And I kept, like, when I was telling them to put me on the next flight, I'm like, people, I'm going to die. Ethiopians don't give a fucking shit. Like, I kept telling them, like, my mouth, my tongue is blocking. It wasn't, of course, I was just being so dramatic. And then just people looking at me like...
You wouldn't be talking.
I even tried to faint.
But you see, I think those things don't work in African countries.
I don't think...
I don't think they really work in African countries. But if it was like a Western country, they would actually, because for them, they fear. For them, they would fear the repercussions that may come from maybe being sued or, But, I mean, African countries, first of all, they probably don't have time to follow up and everything.
Because I would feel like...
But also, I want to debunk what you're saying, of you being quarrelsome. I don't think it's exactly you being quarrelsome. It is you're able to actually speak up your mind and makes people uncomfortable. And usually when people are uncomfortable in certain situations, they label them a certain way. So please, let's take out the quarrelsome. and repeat.
When they sold my seat, when I got at the airport, the Nyonyi left me there. And then where I was seated, I was the only person for like 4 hours. There was no one apart from cleaners. And I didn't even want to go to the hotel because I was so annoyed, so I wanted to cry. And then I just kept looking and there was no one. No one. Hey, you people. I'm so sad that I didn't vote for my president. And it was going to be my first time.
Juicy.
No. No, it's no. My voting was actually smooth, because I was in a different place from where I vote from, so I had to drive out of home and go vote. But of course, I was scared, a little bit skeptical of. Because at some point I was like, is it really worth it? Because I was thinking about it earlier. If I'm to vote, I'll go very early in the morning and then come back home and chill and, do nothing. But you know how you get lazy, stay in bed. And then you start getting a little bit, but must I? Do I need to vote? And, previously from when the internet had gone off and then mobile money had been shut off. So I was not sure of the situation. Like, how you even walk out of home and go to the nearby kiosks and they're all closed and you're wondering what's up. So now me who is going to drive out and go a whole distance to go and vote. It did make sense at some point, but I'm like, what, let me just go and vote. I went, I phoned my brother. I asked him, had you voted? He's like, no, we went there in the morning. There was still curfew, so we left. I'm like, hey, okay, let me just try. So I took a walk and went to vote. And, because it was around 1 p.m. Sun was high noon, and people are seated in, they don't even, some of them don't even have umbrellas. The sun was scorching them. I hope those people. Yes, and it's amazing. Even when you think maybe things are not going well, people don't believe in the system anymore. People still showed up to do whatever it is they need. So when I got there, of course, looking for the name in the register and everything, I voted. It took me less than 10 minutes, and I was out of that place. Yes, and yes, I voted. Huh? No. Listen, no, no. By then, the first curfew and everything had died down, and people were working in. There were not very many people because I think by the time I went to vote, we were like 2-3 people that were in the queue. There was no, actually, I wouldn't even call it a queue because there was no queue. You just walk in, you go to a station, they look for your name, they verify with your whether ID or your voter slip, and then you go vote. So it was quite quick. I was actually surprised. I was there in less than 10 minutes. I voted. They put the ink, but this time the ink I didn't understand. It faded quickly.
My voting kandabe. We tried to get okulonda. It was like a family thing. By 5 a.m., we are all up. And my father was so excited to go and vote. So he said, you cook the best breakfast so that we could go and vote. So we had a very heavy breakfast. And I remember we even bought safety food, safety shoes. So in case of any cavio, we just know mtu ainzo kukuba echiyinja oba newe kona as you're running. So we had all our safety shoes on. We are like soldiers, dressed in cargo pants, as if we are going to tackle our war. I don't know why we had the same idea of that dress code. But we reached at the polling stations. These guys were not yet ready. The machines were not working. People started I can't say rioting, but that they were discomfortable about the old situations. So they were like, why are machines not working? Remember, we woke up very early. From 5, we started voting at 10. What? You were there at that time? Yes. Why should we go home? We came to vote. So we voted. I voted, and I was also an agent somewhere. So we voted. Oh, so you were the agent? No. It just came in. I was expecting money from abroad. And I couldn't access the person sending. Guys, I was a little bit annoyed. I was waiting for my money and the money was not coming.
Olabe cha mobile money. Ataba mobile money bakola sente. Nga oba oyina akatwalo ko ku ssimu ng'oyo okeetaaga akuwa kasanvu. Yeah. So you cannot withdraw, you just send money. So kali aba mobile money bo bakola. Basaba badde babigale.
People selling drinks and eats. Bakola omusana gwatocha. No, omusana gwatocha everywhere. People who sold drinks and eats, those guys made money.
Me, I didn't vote. I didn't vote because I didn't process. I got to a point where I was so eager to vote this year. This is the only time I've not yet voted. I voted the other time, 2016 and also 2021. But this time I didn't vote because my voting station is in Fort Portal. I'm in this city of yours. And the cost, it was not worth it when you know how we roll in this country. I guess. But I don't, maybe not even that, but I started the process, then the whole thing with the national ID, the renewal and all of that. You go to that line and it's too much. I know that the national ID, in a sense, did not matter, but that whole process was so exhausting. Was that strict? Because I knew if you had a voter slip, then you can still vote too. Yeah. So, I mean... Really, because I guess for me, when I did not renew, I'm like, okay, the voters' slip will work. Then the cost also and all of those things. But yeah, apart from that, the voting period was a wow. I finished 2 books in January already. I guess the whole time was to just sit and read. You may think like I've been reading serious things. Okay, one serious thing, but also a lot of smart, dark romance. Yeah, juicy. It was okay. I was not worried so much about anything. I think one thing I appreciate about it too, it gave me time to just sit with myself, spend time with my sisters. It was really nice, and like we started to talk about like ododo and like proper, like backbiting our relatives. We just said about every single person, every single thing. So we really enjoyed that period. But the voting period itself was very anxious, being right in the middle of town. You move everywhere. You PDF, what, police, every single corner. You breathe. And because now you can't leave home, one of our border guys was an agent. Half the time he's like, no, you guys, he would tell us in the morning, don't come today. It seems like things are somehow in the streets. But to hear the helicopters every 15 minutes, every morning, every 15, every hour, it was there. The anxiety. I think for me, because I know how that feels, having grown up in a place that was like war-ridden before, the entire time we could not sleep. You just hear this. But one thing also, I listened to the radio religiously. That time we put the radio, we charged the radio, and we were on radio like, what's happening here? What's happening here? But what shocked me, I think I was not ready for it. Of course, like how like everyone was talking about, there might be some riots, what. But actually hearing the tear gas. Standing outside at the shop. I left the things I went back inside.
Talking of radio now, let me tell you my experience. I don't own a TV. I don't own a radio. I'm those people who just count on internet for everything. So I get to my house, internet is off, and I have no radio and no TV. And so at the beginning, and then I also own an iPhone because I don't have inbuilt radio. So the first day I calm, and like right outside my house is a border stage. So the first day I'm calm, but then at some point I'm like, a whole war could break out. And I will have no idea. Because I was in my own world. And then, just for the first 2 days, I kept peeping at the border stage to see if the borders were there. And every time I would not see the borders, I would come out because there are also shops, and I'd be like, what have people had? Have you had anything? Then I ended up buying a radio. Yes. And like this Mukala Kahasa. Like, guys, I now own a Mukala. But it's actually, it's fun because these days I listen to radio. My house is no longer boring. But internet really controls our lives. Yeah. Like, I couldn't do anything. Also, why do I have no TV? I've also begun rethinking my life. I don't own a TV. I think I should buy a TV.
You should buy a TV.
I can't afford it though. People, please put money time.
But I had no TV, no radio. So my only source of news was from a friend. Hello? Katudi wano. I almost used letters.
When we talk about the internet part, we have a TV at home and a radio. But it was only NBS showcasing the news. NBS, and we never had NTV. But I feel like the moment when the internet was down, it gave us a moment of socializing and buying minutes on our phones. We used to use a lot of data and WhatsApp calls. Text messages were expensive. To buy an SMS, it was very expensive. So I think it gave us a chance of socializing with our family members. I remember my father narrated their stories when they were still young. They were the Kadogos. How Kadogos came in, you know, how all that Museveni 1919 what was. My mother narrated on how during the war how girls were used to face a lot of sexual violence. So actually I came to know a lot of history just because there were no internet.
It has shown itself also during this period.
So I think at a moment of not having an internet, we socialized and even came to know actually someone is having a problem all along with mental issues, but you live in the same house. Hi, hey, and everyone is sleeping, back to your internet. But when there was no internet, we socialized a lot, and the Masasi was also part of it. In our home area, there was a lot of tear gas.
Mix. But like also this time, I think gave us time to, like, is it called introspective? About things that matter, who people matter and all of that stuff, because it's like you're living for YOLO once in a while. You only live once moment.
Yeah, for people that matter. Guys, stop gaslighting us.
Yes.
I hear if no one checked on you during the period, you should know your people, guys. There's
No, but I think it is that deep. Because so many people that shocked me, that checked on me, that I didn't care that much about me.
it depends,
There's
Gloria.
someone who called me and they're like, are you okay? Like, we don't even chat like that.
It depends because now, everyone was struggling in their own different ways. It doesn't mean exactly because I didn't check on you in a period of like 4-5 days.
You don't know you had a mental
Now, for me, of course, the internet shut down. It hurt me. Like someone shared before, they said it takes away power. Like it shows, someone is still in control and they can take away whatever it is that you have at anyone. So it takes away that power and that autonomy for you, because like someone has said, we depend on internet to do a lot of things, whether it is banking, whether it is games, whether it is education. Lately there are people who missed their exams, there are people who are doing exams during this period and they miss, and they distance learning, and people people who are making money, a lot of people lost money. So for me it wasn't even about, because I don't know, I'm one person that can actually decide to log off, and what you guys are saying, it gives you time to think about yourself, your other life choices, but I know when I can do that. No, I'm not dismissing. I said personally. But then, I want to do it in my time. Not on someone's conditions. Yes.
But
You understand?
someone's that who brought internet. Then they can take it away.
Yeah, so for me it wasn't like a time for deep thought and thinking about this. The moment the internet went off, I also don't have a TV because I took my TV to my brother's place, and I was saying I want to buy a big one. I've not yet gotten time to buy that big one. I don't have the only times I listen to radio is when I'm driving in the car. I don't even have radio, so I only had a laptop. So the moment the internet went off, I started looking for movies. The guys of video libraries made some money. Yes. Because I knew that is the next thing. I don't want to lose my mind in this. You don't know what to do with yourself. It's not that moment. I'm not ready for me to sit with my thoughts and think about life and everything going on and all the warmongering and everything else. So I just got something that would distract me properly. I got my movies, I got series, and I binge watched. Like most of the time I was just doing that. So for me, I didn't like it. It's annoying. Yes, and for someone who was also always on my phone, it is annoying.
Which types of movies did you watch? Sorry.
In all types. Why?
From the light black.
Translated one.
Quick, no, I'm not translating.
Story now. Now me, It was my first time going for voting. I didn't even know what happens there. But I was so excited. I went very early in the morning. By 7 I was there. Mine is near here in Nakasero. I go. Actually everything was there, as there was nothing like delaying or anything. They brought everything on time. The demarcations were, because there were about 7 or 8 poll. And then, now what caught my eye is this. Other things I think are the same for all of us that went for voting. It was peaceful, it didn't have anything. Then there were 2 things actually. One, there was this line of army soldiers that came in. People are peaceful, they tell you go vote after voting. If you want to wait, kindly wait from outside. So we voted from Novik. So there was nothing like why it was shining or anything of the sort. So it was peaceful. Now this line of soldiers came in. One of them, but he started making ruckus like, but we're voting from inside. People are seated outside peacefully. Even policemen were just there. They were having their chibos with people. Then one of them, I think he was the leader, came and asked him, why are you shouting? Why are you shouting? What are they doing here? He's like, what have they done? What have they done? Don't they have a right to do so? Was like, no, they told us people shouldn't be around. So one of the police guys told him, this is not your job. This is our job. That's why we're here. If there was anything wrong about it, we wouldn't have made them what? Stay. But you're shouting. This is a hospital. People are actually like the patients. Why are you shouting? You didn't find anything. Nekaswala, nekebuzabuza, then he left. That was
what really hurt with, and what annoyed me so much about this whole internet shutdown conversation is that they've made it a betrayal of the system that it is. That everyone already knew there's going to be an internet shutdown, and for these people and who they are to gaslight us and tell us we are misinformed and we are spreading falsehoods and tell us you don't know, we're not going to shut down the internet, all of this is misinformation. But you have continuously, year in, year out of every election, anytime they piss off one of your gods, you get pissed off and you threaten us with internet shutdown. And they did exactly that, you know. And then you gaslit us, and the things they were telling us, no, in Mombasa, the ship did what? Are you mad? We understand how these things work. And even up to now, some people still have not been fully restored, right? And you see now that, and that's exactly what I'm saying, that they forced us into so much fear that now you cannot not exist with VPN. And not all VPNs, meanwhile, that there's a specific VPN that you have to make sure that is able to now do the trafficking somehow, and so that you're able to still be online. Anyway, yeah, in all of that, how do we keep safe? I don't have an answer. I'm going to come back to it.
Naku zino bizibu muko kubanga n'abaana betuweerera batusinga amagezi ogenda olabanga yazuula VPN niweebuuza ate yabitegeera ddi ati awo ne tugamba kati tukole tutya akitegedde yagoyina essimu ye yavumbula kakati zekyakwasa nabira ddala abaana bagenda ebyo by'omukono bakuba amabulooka abazimba bazimbe kubanga bya internet bye byatabuka tetumanyi kyakukola tulina kukola research ng'ate mungi kubanga kati n'abaana benyi tebakyagala kusoma omufosinga bufosinze okusaba omwana naga nti mpulira nyala kudda kusomera ogwo omupushing go back to school usitegeera so kakati tuliba tulina kukola research tetubamanya abaana beetaaga ki waliwo omusomesa nga netayagala omuleka ensi naye nemukubakuba mukko n'awulira
For me, okay, the one thing I didn't speak about is the advantage of the internet being off, I think a bit of the fear mongering was calmed down, was controlled, because when you spread information anywhere, anyhow, and you know people, whether they have a propaganda or not, they can easily, you know, and there are people who are easily swayed by whatever it is they hear. They don't have time to discern and make sure it's the correct information. So that could have prevented a little bit of, yes, there was violence, but I think it would have been worse if the internet was on. So that's the only advantage that I get from there. That fear, that anxiety, that, you know, fast-paced, how false news moves faster than they, you know, and you don't know what people will do, especially if they are desperate. So anyway, going forward, for me, my lesson was, let's learn to start early in terms of preparation and getting ready for these things. We know that every 5 years, for now, that is the status quo unless something changes. But before it changes, that is what is going to happen. Every 5 years, we are going to go through the same stuff. So let's not wait for 2030 or 2031 to start saving up for this kind of, you know. Let's start now. There will be no internet. There will be, because the internet will never be on, by the way, whether we like it or not, mobile money, anything. So we need to start preparing early enough. Let's not wait for last minute. Start saying, bera munaka sente, bera munaka chi. If you have to create a fund that is going to be there just for those purposes, and maybe you know that within a month I'm supposed to pick it and have it on me, let's start immediately. Otherwise, whenever you wait, we cannot predict what will happen usually. And I mean, when you look at just last year, the economy was the pits. Saving was hard last year. But now imagine if someone has started saving from 2021 to now. They wouldn't be in the same position as someone who just started in 2025 to save for 2026. So let's start now. That is one of my strategies for me. And of course, at the end of the day, you have to stay grounded and you have to be aware of your environment. Right now, shit is not back to normal yet. So we have to be very careful with our actions, with our words, with who we associate with, and, you know, everything else that is going on around us. And you have to keep your ears on the ground. These things of being buried in the internet, okay, I'm one of those. And then you have no idea what is going on around you. Yes. So you have to keep your ear on the ground, keep on the lookout, like stay focused, don't be too much into your own world and you don't know what is happening. So that, you know, whatever happens, you're at least a little bit armed with information, with what you can do, and, you know, anything else that you would need in any instance.
Do you agree with Salong about making kids stay on the internet and not taking them to school? Because school is next week. As someone from the education system, give us advice. Parents are stressed, Wama.
Let me tell you, yes, parents are stressed. I'll give you an example. You know, you can say you might not take them to school unless a child doesn't really want to go to school. But usually, when you have children in school, they are more controlled, as compared to when they are not in school. Yes. Okay, not controlled. Okay, they are more structured. Should I use that? Yes. Why? Because they have probably, I could call it maybe timetable, or there's a structure that they are following and everything. When you leave them at home, I'll give you an example of COVID. Parents were with their children for about 2 years of no school. But like by the second month of them just being home, they were done. They were done. Because and now remember, in this instance, most of the parents were actually home. They were not working. There were very few people that were actually working. So for a parent that is working, and you have your child at home, like you're saying, just leaving them on the internet, that might be a recipe for disaster. There are very few children that would actually probably follow whatever it is you've put in place for you to be able to do what. So you're leaving them out to the world. So it's a bit tough. I'm not saying it won't work. You never know. I mean, we all have different destinies. But in most cases, it's likely to fail 80% of the time. So keep the children in school. Yes, it's tiresome. Yes, it might be expensive. It looks expensive, by the way. It's not. Let me tell you why it's not expensive. It's not that expensive. I'm going to say probably you take your child to a school that pays. Let me give an example of like 1.5 million shillings, and that 1.5 million shillings is spread over a period of about 3 months. You understand? Eh? It caters for foods. It depending on the situation. If they're in boarding, that means for you don't have transport. But if they are coming from home, maybe there's a bit of transport cost. But that money, as compared to how if they are constantly at home, that money you will probably spend in a month, as compared to this money that you're going to spend in 3 months. So school might look expensive in this, when they're asking you for fees and everything, but it turns out cheaper than you actually having your child, outside all the time. So, but those are my personal opinions. They are not studied. There's no research that has been done about them. But when you look at it, when you look at the bigger picture, it's better that you let your child stay in school. Yes. Because
akatolekika by the nze kyenzudde nga nze most cases kati nga internet yavaako basinga bajogerako bubi kumbe inako n'ebirungi lwaki yavaako ekitegeera waliwo positive effects nga bamaze ogijjako okitegeera kati ezo effects ezo zivaamu nga bagijjeeko abasinga tebazimanya. Osobola okubeera nga olina mental problems olw'okuba you are addicted on your phone. Buli dakiika emu bbiri owulira tosobola kuva ku ssimu, okitegeera ne weebuuza lwaki oba twekola ki. Kati waliwo sister wange yankubira essimu nagamba aba Android mazzeeko mwakozesa bo VPN kati fe aba iPhone tukoze tutya. Wazale mugamba kankubulizeeko ndabe ne bigaana nagamba bulijjo mmanyi essimu yange nfu eryanda ngenda gula eryanda eppya niye essimu eganye okugwako omuliro zanye bugeemu ekitegeera negamba nagamba maze otegera essimu yange ki nanga ka TV njitunuulidde simanyi kulaba TV ate TV yange girabira ku ssimu yange kati nanga buli kimu ne kyemwonoonekako natandika n'okunyumyako ne kuba neiba nagendako ne mu gym gye yayigirya kati n'okuba gym kati agendawo mu gym nadduka ngamba internet yamaze ogijjako kanaye luli yalinga abeera nga alinga kiddoma nti
So your opinion should be off and on.
off and on.
The internet shutdown taught me to read, like just revived my need to read. I'd become very lazy. And I was so bored that I had to look for things to do. And now that I'm reading, I'm loving the new culture that I've cultivated, but I'm also learning new things. My new interest right now is in mechanics, so I'm reading books about cars and mechanics. For some reason, I just be reading.
You just want a new car.
I just be reading random ass things. So yeah, I think we need to take care of ourselves because the effect of social media, like the effect of what has happened, is not something that just goes. We can force ourselves to move on, but the trauma stays. So we need to continue taking care of ourselves. The other thing, I think, as women, you also need to speak up when you see other women being violated. And I hate that when some women were violated because they were affiliated with particular political parties, other people that were from other political parties were like, we don't care. An attack on women is an attack on you. And I see how much the information about the violence against these women is being put out and how it's normalizing violating women.
Yes.
And I'm really hating it, and I'm worried for what comes for just not only the women but for organizations like ours that are also doing work. around women. So I feel like 2026, any organization that is doing work around women should have programming around violence against women at its core right now. Because it feels like they have moved, like they have reset and normalized what violence looks like for women. That now we have to do the work to now get, like we have to go back. Yet we had walked way far ahead. Because now you can see, for instance, Sarah Bleta, who was arrested, these opposition MPs and non-opposition people that are... Yeah, but also like believing victims, because some of these stories I was hearing, and I had to call myself out. Because I'll be hearing stories, I'm like, and then I'm like, girl.
The internet.
Like you cannot, because sometimes you might feel like that was something that was so small that was done to someone, but you cannot evaluate how the person felt.
Yeah.
So even if for you felt like you had the capability to still stand, if such a thing was done to you, maybe for them they didn't. So validating women's stories is also something that is very important. Complying. For people that are in NGOs, seeing what has happened to Chapter 4 and National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders over the last few weeks, I feel like it's just the beginning. So since it's the beginning of the year, people need to get their books in order. People need to get their, accounts in order. It's a good time for you to begin consulting your tax consultants and your legal consultants around compliance so that you don't end up on the wrong arm of the law. Because it's going to get worse before it gets better. Yeah, but we will stay. We will stay in this country. We are going to stay there, and we are going to wave our flag over they want it, over they don't.
Speak for yourself. To borrow Chocolata's patriotism, I was listening to this podcast, Fixing the Nation. It's a podcast in Kenya, and one of the things that one of the people on the podcast said is that the most dangerous thing for bad governments is informed citizens. I think as individuals doing this work, but also anyone who listens to the podcast, radicalize your politics, personal politics first. Let the violence that you see happen to other people affect you so much that you leave your comfort zone. I'm talking about posting about it. Of course, we can always do this in a more secure way, but not keeping quiet. To mean that radicalize yourself, be so informed that the people around you can vouch for you. You have to be that person the system finds hard to criminalize, right? Because the laws they're very innovative, and they're going to keep on bringing new laws, new policies to shut you down, shut down your work, shut down your passion. So, yeah. Radicalize your politics. Just make sure you're so unmoved in your conviction and devotion to exist in this Uganda as much as possible. Yeah. Yeah. And also be love your people. Hug them. Rock them back and forth.
Because it's Valentine's month. It's the love month. We should share some love, share your money, share everything with your people. But don't share with selfish people, right? What? Selfish people deserve love. They also deserve love.
Akatalekeka, my money is my money. Anyway, akatalekeka zekenina. Fenga abantu with a citizen. Sometimes we forget that we are citizens of the country and we face the same problem. We might be believing in different political parties, but at Shija County, we are all in the same country and we are all facing the same problems. And we find that the people that between they call them the oppressors, eh? sometimes we don't attack the oppressors because the oppressors are not in our docket. So we attack those we feel like we are capable to attack. So I feel like in the era of politics, if we are two people supporting different political parties, we are still brothers and sisters. Let's not take the hate. Let's not take the hate and to a local person who has come to vote. For example, like when someone is actually an NRM supporter has come to vote and people are ganging on that person or any other party. Let's remember that we are all citizens and we are facing the same problems.
They say let's not be too serious. I mean, we only have one life. There's no spare for life. So I think hold that life, like in high esteem, and hold on to it, like it's, and probably live every day like it's your last day. You never know what will happen. I mean, by the time 2025 ended, people were dying in funny ways. So just hold yourself together, look after you, watch out for your mental health, don't entertain negativity, stay away from what triggers you, find your joy.
On that note,
And get a eater.
Juicy says so. Wow, you all have been amazing. This has been amazing, and thank you so much for being here. It's always a vibe to have you in the studio. I tell Juicy, Ozena Kapia. Yes, oh my God, it has been amazing, and we've been back Queer Twogere, always, day in and day out. Please don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Farouk, on TikTok at Farouk, on Instagram at Farouk_Uganda, on Anchor, on Spotify, on our website at faruganda.org. We are everywhere.
But don't follow us in person.
No. Don't follow us in person. My name is Sis Chocolate, and I've been your host for today, and we've been the Queer Twogere.
She said what she said. I got a question.